There are a lot of really, really good reasons to come to Madagascar. Whether you're into wildlife, whether you're into plants, whether you're into beautiful beaches, mountains, whatever your thing, Madagascar's probably got it. But if you are a baobab lover, and I think anyone who knows me knows that I definitely am, then Madagascar is absolute Mecca. And for me, it was on day 4 that I saw my first Malagasy baobab, and then day 5 that I got to that place, which is quite simply heaven on earth for baobab lovers. It's called the Allée des Baobabs, and my goodness, what a place. But let me just wind back. Day 4 started in Antsirabe, which was a beautiful highland town, strangely on the same altitude and latitude as my home in Zimbabwe, almost exactly the same. And very cool, pleasant climate, and a very, very, very different feel from what I was expecting, because it's got much more of an Asian feel than an African feel. The architecture's different, the people different. I mean, maybe I've said this already, but the Malagasy language is actually most closely related to Indonesian. So it's perhaps not that surprising, but yeah, I mean, beautiful, fantastic city. We had a lovely night there. And then we drove through these stunning area of paddy fields and wheat fields and these villages with, like I said, this amazingly different architecture and very Asian feel. And then we started descending through some wide open grasslands and rolling hills, and we descended from 1,500 meters down almost to sea level. And then it started to get a very much more familiar kind of savanna look to it. Strongly African feel. The architecture was more African. People looked more African. And there, in the distance, just as the sun was coming down, was our first ever Malagasy or Madagascan baobab tree. It was incredible. And we arrived at after dark in the bustling seaside town of Morondava and had a night there. And then the next morning we got up to go and visit the Allée des Baobabs. Well, that is the place. It's in every photograph of Madagascar, every story that's ever been printed in the international news about baobab trees has a picture from Baobab Alley, and sure enough, it was really, really, really worth it. I mean, just the most amazing place. Kind of a spiritual experience for me walking through these trees. The road that goes through the middle of it is just a normal public road. There's people coming and going. There's a little village at one side. It's out in a communal area, so it's very kind of authentic and rustic, but these trees are just magnificent. Several different species there. There are 6 species in total in Madagascar that are endemic, plus the Adansonia digitata that we have in mainland Africa. But in the Allée des Baobabs, there's 3 different species. The main ones are the grandidieri and a couple of others. The grandidieri are they're really tall, just, my goodness, utterly, utterly spectacular. So yeah, we stood underneath them, kind of a bit of tree worship, to be honest, and fairly unashamed about that. And then we drove up north, parallel to the coast, through just miles and miles of these amazing baobab trees going on forever. Sorry, I'm splitting between baobab and baobab. Baobab because that's what I normally say when I'm at home, but baobab because, of course, in Madagascar that's what everyone calls it. So I'm a bit unsure which one to say. And then I'll stick with baobab because that's the Malagasy way. And then we got to this place called Kirindy Forest. And Kirindy Forest is a piece of dryland forest. It's protected, and it's got several lemur species that are endemic to that area. And we were very hopeful. We hadn't yet seen a lemur. We were very hopeful to see our first lemur. We were not disappointed. On the very same day that we saw the Allée des Baobabs in the morning, that afternoon we went out for a walk from our little biological research station in Kirindy Forest, and there we saw our first lemurs, and our second ones, and our third ones, and fourth and fifth, and lots more. We went out for another walk that evening and we saw some nocturnal lemurs. I mean, such a diversity. I think we saw 4 or 5 different species. Then on the way out the next morning, we saw the sifaka, but not before seeing something that's really rare and unusual. The almost the only significant predator in Madagascar. Madagascar is amazing. There are no hooved animals in Madagascar. Very limited diversity of different types of sort of mammal families. And almost no carnivores, but the one that there is a sort of cat-like animal called the fossa, and it's very hard to see, very rare. It eats lemurs, lots of lemurs, and we were incredibly lucky to see one in our camp that actually came into our camp. Then we drove up. We had a fantastic drive through the Madagascan countryside. We had 2 crossings of ferries, very exciting, parking our vehicles side by side on these fairly rickety but you know, very effective and workable ferries across the river, and then across another river, and then we ended up where we are now, which is in a town rather confusingly called Bekopaka. Bekopaka. Pronunciation in Malagasy is quite tough. And this is the entrance to the Parc National Tsingy, the Bemaraha, whatever it is. Oh dear, sorry. Sorry, Madagascar, I didn't mean to. Mahala. Damn it, I've forgotten it. But it's, anyway, it's the Tsingy. And tomorrow we're going to go into the Petit Tsingy, and then the day after the Grand Tsingy. I'm not going to tell you any more about that. I'll save that for the next video. All I can say is that this is an utterly extraordinary country full of incredible diversity, and I just feel so privileged to be here. Our self-drive adventure, we're only 1 week in and we're here for nearly 5 weeks, so we've got a lot more to see. If you're enjoying these videos, just keep on watching African Plant Hunter and you'll see the next one within the next couple of days. I don't know when I'll get to upload this because, yeah, we are not in a place with very good Wi-Fi, so it's not going to happen immediately, but it will come up in the fullness of time if you're patient. All right, thanks for watching, guys. Take it easy. Bye.